Hi, so as I promised in our last video, I'm going to introduce you to some of our residents that have actually been here for a few years. Before we set up the charity 18 months ago, we actually already took in lots of stray animals, rescues, things like that. We've never actually gone out and bought an animal. They've always just arrived either on their own, some of them have arrived, dogs and cats, on their own, and others obviously that people have brought to us. So Ryuk is the first one I'm going to introduce you to. A lovely, lovely dog, a Bosseron. He's about 4 years old. He came into us nearly 3 years ago, yes, as a teenager, with a lot of problems, unfortunately. So he was a little COVID puppy. And he was bought in a pet shop during COVID when he was about 4 months old. So he'd probably already been taken away from his mum a little bit early. He then was left in a pet shop from about 2 months on till about 4 months when he was bought in the pet shop. So obviously a period that's really important for socialising puppies, and unfortunately he spent those 2 months in a pet shop, not in contact with other animals or a lot with people, which had a huge effect on him. He then went to a family who really meant the best for him, but obviously living in Paris he ended up in a one-bedroom flat, which really wasn't adapted to his size. So as soon as he started getting a little bit bigger, and obviously the people went back to work after COVID, he was spending all day on his own in the apartment, which obviously went very badly. Lots of complaints from neighbours, barking, he destroyed their apartment. They tried to place him with several people to find him a new home, which unfortunately didn't go well either. So by the time he arrived with us about 3 years ago, he'd already been moved around and left about 4 or 5 times. So he was an incredibly stressed out little dog. So when he arrived here, we had a huge amount of work with a dog behaviourist who works with us, who's lovely. She helped us get him back to where he should be, really confidence-wise. He needed a lot of confidence, a lot of building of trust and things like that, which he has done amazingly well. He's a lovely dog. Unfortunately, there are certain things, even with all the work we've done, that we can't ever get back. So he'll always be a dog that's a little bit sensitive. So it's a dog, unfortunately, when it's people he doesn't know, he's very stressed out and he's incredibly sensitive to other people's feelings. So anybody that's frightened of him, and obviously as you can see, he's a big lad, aren't you, my darling? A big lad of 45, for about 42 kilos now. So people are quite often frightened of him when they see him, especially as he's barking at the gate. He feels a lot of people's stress and fear and reacts quite badly. So this is Dobby, our second dog, that we've had already for a long time, about 9 years. So he's about 10 years old. He's about the same age, he came in about the same age as Ryuk, as a teenager, about 13, 14 months old, which is actually a really common age for dogs to end up in rescue centres and things like that, because it's an age where they're still puppies in their head, but they're actually their adult size. So teenage dogs, basically, and they can be very difficult to handle depending on their size. And obviously this is another big dog, non-car big old Dobby, already weighs over 45 kilos. And the young couple that bought him as a puppy thought he was going to be a small dog. They wanted a dog about 10, 15 kilos. So obviously that didn't work out quite as planned, did it? Really lovely dog, just wrong place, wrong time, really. So he came in, he didn't have any particular problems. He'd only been in one home before us. So he was just really, it was just controlling all his mad energy, because even at 10 years old, he's still a nutter, as you can see. So he's just a really lovely dog, but been with us a long, long time. Unfortunately, 10 years old is already a good age for a large dog, and he actually has a tumour, which is already quite big. We think it's a benign tumour. There's not an awful lot we can do about it because of where it's positioned, so we're just making sure he has a lovely end of his life with us. So this is our third dog, Lily, a little female Border Collie cross. About 10 years old. So she came in a few years ago. She was actually left on the side of a road not far from us. Really sweet little dog, really lovely. Had a lot of problems when she came in, trusting people, running away all the time because she was very scared. Whenever we left the house, she'd try and follow us. So she managed to find loads of holes in the fence that we didn't know we had. Really sweet little dog. So after our dogs, here are the ponies. So here they are. This is Harmony and Jumanji. Jumanji's the little white Shetland and Harmony is the bigger pony. So they've been with us already for a few years. Jumanji came from a riding centre where unfortunately he really wasn't adapted. He's quite a stressful character. He didn't like all the screaming and the kids running around, so he came to us with a friend. Unfortunately, we lost his little friend a few years ago already because he was very elderly and already done several years of pony club. So when he died, we went and picked up Harmony from another rescue centre to keep him company. So they're both already about 30 years old, but they're both healthy and happy. So we're hoping we're going to keep them on still for another few years, and they're doing very well. No, this is Jerry. He's been with us for about 10 years. He arrived as a kitten with his brother, who's called Tom. So it's Tom and Jerry. Lovely, really lovely cat, really affectionate, as you can see. So he lives outside most of the time. He doesn't like coming in. He's a good hunter. And he spends his time just running around in the barns and stuff like that. Really lovely cat, and I'll show you his brother later. So with the association, we're obviously going to try and find homes for as many of the animals that come into us as we can. Some of them take a lot longer to rehome than the others that need treating or need socialising. It can take quite a long time. But obviously if we can, we'll find them new homes. And any of those that can't be rehomed for health reasons or because they're not sociable for those reasons, then they'll be staying with us for life. We'll obviously be keeping them in the best conditions possible. So having access to an outside area, obviously good food, treatment whenever they need it, and as much socialisation as possible. We do have volunteers that come in several times a week to socialise our animals because it's something that's really important for their health as well. So we have 7 cats that are in the house at the moment, that live with us in the house, all different ages, all different colours, come a bit from all different backgrounds, so here they are.